Welcome, family, friends, and loved ones, to Pitzer College's 53rd commencement. This is a day of joy and celebration for parents and grandparents and relatives and loved ones. And what about you moms? Isn't this a wonderful Mother's Day weekend? My heartfelt congratulations to you, our graduating class of 2017. The class of 2017 hails from 29 states and 11 countries. You range in age from 20 to 53. Most of the class of 2017 came to Pitzer in 2013 when the college was celebrating its 50th anniversary. And now you are graduating during my first commencement as president of Pitzer College. I see in you the history and purpose of this school. You have studied binomials, biology, and the Bard. You have lived in Quito and Kathmandu. You have worked with women on probation and helped elementary school children get a jump start on their education. You have stretched and sacrificed to reach this milestone, which is called a commencement because we are celebrating not only your accomplishments here, but the beginnings of the next chapter in your lives. And to all of our new resources students and your families, I offer you a special congratulations. As non-traditional age college students, you bring a unique diversity of knowledge and lived experience to our classrooms and our community, and we thank you and applaud you. Here with us on this happy occasion are members of our Board of Trustees and our Board Chair, Shahan Sahikian. Shahan, please stand. I would also like to recognize and ask the following people to stand as I call their names. VP for Admissions and Financial Aid, Yvonne Berriman. VP for Academic Affairs and Dean of Faculty, Nigel Boyle. VP for Student Affairs, Brian Carlisle. Acting VP for College Advancement, Pamela Jones-Tintle. And lastly, our distinguished Pitzer College faculty. Stand. I would like to express my appreciation to Pitzer College staff members for their dedicated efforts today. In particular, I would like to acknowledge Commencement Coordinator Katie Toole, our Commencement Committee, groundskeepers and staff from Facilities and Maintenance, Custodial and Housekeeping, Food Services, and every office on campus that worked together to create this beautiful occasion. The graduating class elected Professors Will Barnt and Roberta Espinoza as the student marshals. Our faculty marshals are Professors Elisa Bonaparte and Rachel Van Sickle Ward. Students also elect a member of the Pitzer staff to be their guest to thank them for their generosity of spirit. This year, the students chose 2 staff members, Gary Lewis from Dining Services and Moya Carter from Student Affairs. Will all of those people stand up so we can give them a collective applause? There's a quote on the wall in the Holden Garden that says, "You are of this place. It is changing you." Pitzer has changed you, and you have changed Pitzer forever. You have been an admission fellow, president of the Pitzer Legal Society, and a member of the college's presidential search committee, for which I would personally like to say thank you for your service. You created the Mindful of the Future speaker series, bringing high-profile public figures from state leaders to presidential hopefuls to campus. You rallied students to reduce electricity use and helped Pitzer win this year's Power Down competition. You organized the Rockabilly Festival for 2 years running, including the 12-hour 10th anniversary extravaganza just 14 days ago. You served for 7 semesters on Student Senate and wrote resolutions to expand access and equity for all students. You established the Pitzer Advocates for Survivors of Sexual Assault, as well as the Mixed Identity Exchange. You helped turn more than 28,000 pounds of food waste into compost over the past year. You immersed yourself in all aspects of campus life after starting college in your 30s, and you leave us not only with memories of your energy, generosity, and Dodgers baseball cap, but a newly renovated New Resources Lounge that you painted from floor to ceiling. You mentored first-generation college students in every class on campus. You are global local mentorship program pioneers who, in your first year, studied abroad and transformed classroom skills into community-based projects that will continue long after you graduate. Together, you created a senior thesis art collective and staged an exhibit you called, quote, a dress rehearsal for the world of tomorrow, unquote. Many of you, particularly Latinx student union representatives, initiated and supported the establishment of Pitzer as a sanctuary college. You have invested in each other's success and well-being in 1,000 ways, official and unofficial, as RAs and peer health educators, as mentors and tutors, as Writing Center fellows, and as friends who have become something close to kin. And your many accomplishments during your time at Pitzer have not only shaped this place, they will shape the world beyond our campus. You conducted research in atmospheric chemistry that will help us evaluate methods of reducing the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere. You founded the Trans Youth Leadership Summit to develop the organizing skills of young transgender leaders from across the country. You coordinated toxic tours to highlight air pollution and environmental challenges in the LA area. You helped North Korean refugees find homes in new countries. You worked with day laborers at the Pomona Economic Opportunity Center. You helped support Nepal after the 2015 earthquake. You created environmental curriculum for the World Wildlife Fund in New Delhi. And imagine you did all this while taking classes at each of the Claremont colleges, discussing diaspora and Durkheim, analyzing molecular structures and iambic pentameters, reading Descartes and Derek Bell. And in your off hours, you performed with a Balinese dance troupe, sang Mozart's Requiem, captained the 5C roller derby team, and founded Pitzer's first competitive ping pong club. To more than 24 first-generation college students, I want to say I know something about your journey. I was the first in my family to graduate from high school, and I know how foreign it can feel to walk into a college campus when you don't have family footsteps to follow. But I also know you had your family behind you every step of the way. And I want to acknowledge all the moms and dads, all the sisters and brothers, and all the grandparents, and if there are any, great-grandparents, who are under the tent with us today. Education is a chain reaction, and you are part of the spark that set this day in motion so many years ago. To our student athletes, you have balanced academics with athletics. You have written term papers on the team bus while winning All-American, All-Academic, and All-SIAC honors on the court. In the pool and on the field, you have played on Pomona, Pitzer, Sagen teams that have, over the past 4 years, racked up 15 SIAC championships. You helped the women's soccer team advance to the Elite Eight of the NCAA tournament for the first time in program history. You scored points, blocked shots, and saved goals on the men's and women's water polo teams, which both, by the way, won this year's SIAC championships. You made Sage Hen history books running track and cross country. You were the #1 singles team player in the West this year. And you and the Claremont College's Lines rugby team survived a snowy, freezy semifinals game in Colorado on your way to winning the 2017 Rugby National Championship 65-0. Yes, 65-0. Class of 2017, you have won regional, national, and international awards for your steadfast, sometimes sleepless pursuit of knowledge. You have earned Abelson scholarships, Goldwater scholarships, and Kemper scholarships. You are Mellon Mays, Princeton, and Latin America, and Udall Fellows. You have won the Peace First Prize, the Napier Award for Creative Leadership, and the Davis Projects for Peace Award. 2 of you received Coro Fellowships in Public Affairs to hone your skills and talents as effective and ethical leaders. 11 of you won Fulbright Fellowships designed to increase mutual understanding around the globe and create a more peaceful world. And 1 of you was awarded both a Ford Foundation and a National Science Foundation fellowship to pursue your PhD in biology at Harvard. Your postgraduate plans reflect your delivery of thought, your range of expertise, and the purpose and passion you have cultivated at Pitzer. Your education is launching you on a number of career paths. Many of you have secured positions in fields spanning the spectrum, from consulting and finance to education and environmental sustainability, from health and tech to politics and the arts. You will be working for government and nonprofit organizations as well as in the private sector. You are enrolling in graduate programs in medicine, law, the sciences, and the humanities. We are confident that wherever you go, whatever you do, you will help foster Pitzer's core values in the world around us. This year's senior class speaker is Kepa Barrett. Do you think Kepa is popular? Kepa is from the Hawaiian Islands and is graduating today with a degree in environmental analysis and a minor in economics. After graduation, Kepa will be returning home as a team leader for a summer youth conservation corps program, and he eventually plans to pursue a career in environmental law. Please come up.
Surprise, family. They had no idea I was doing this. Good morning, everyone. I would first like to honor and acknowledge the indigenous community of this place. They are the Tongva people. Mahalo nui loa. Thank you so much for hosting us on your ancestral lands, upon which the story of Pitzer's 53rd graduating class begins. Now, if any of you know me, you know how much I love hugs. Because to me, embracing someone represents more than just a greeting. It actually represents a mutual acceptance of another, no matter how they identify, where they come from, or what their background might be. I've always held a deep conviction that a meaningful embrace can be life-changing, much like our life-changing experience here at Pitzer College. It is this idea of embrace that makes me recall Pitzer's move-in day 4 years ago. Although my parents couldn't be there that day, I didn't feel the slightest bit homesick at the time. It seemed like after leaving home and living on campus for a week and a half, I was doing pretty well with my newfound independence. After helping my roommate and his family move him into our residence hall, we spent the rest of our time hanging out and enjoying the beaming SoCal sun. At the end of the day, students, faculty, and parents all gathered on this very same commencement field for the final dinner hosted by Pitzer administrators. After helping ourselves to some light refreshments, we gathered around the orange and white cloth-covered dining tables to listen to the closing ceremonial remarks, which went something to the effect of this. Dear Pitzer College, class of 2017, please rise, bid your loved ones farewell, and go join your fellow OA leaders on the other side of the mounds to begin this momentous journey. Dramatic, right? Following these powerful words, I witnessed loved ones embracing my fellow classmates, many of whom had obvious tears streaming down their face. But what happened next would define my experience at Pitzer for the next 4 years. I don't know who it was, but someone had the bright idea to play Brada Israel Kamaka Vivo Ole's rendition of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Y'all swear you was targeting the Hawaiian in the audience. Because as soon as I heard that song, I lost it. My initial confidence washed away, and with tears literally cascading out of my eyes, I ran to the back of McConnell to call my parents. My father, a 1981 Pitzer graduate, answered the phone saying, "Aloha?" To which I replied, "Dad, I miss you and Mom." And then he goes, "Hold on." Next thing I know, I hear him calling upstairs to my mom, yelling, "Hey, honey, our son's on the phone. He finally misses us." Needless to say, I tell this story not only because it illustrates the role family and our mentors will continue to play in our lives, but also because it truly represents what I believe is the essence of Pitzer. When we embraced our loved ones that fateful day, we could have never imagined or fathomed how much we would actually end up embracing in our college careers. Whether that embrace meant endless hours studying, mastering chemistry, or miraculously writing that final research paper overnight. Whether it looked like all the good time spent eating with loved ones in our spectacular dining hall, or it represented that Afghan refugee you befriended on your study abroad program in Italy. For many, especially first-generation, new resources students, queer people of color, and the various ways we all express our identities, our Pitzer experience forced us to embrace the historical and systemic challenges of attaining a higher education. Today is a testament to everyone's strength and perseverance over these last 4 years. In a very cheesy way, everyone's collective Pitzer experience is kind of like one huge, meaningful hug, whose embrace, for better or for worse, was nonetheless life-changing. And as we look to the future, in these deeply divided times where political, social, and environmental inequity are on the rise, our Pitzer education and experience has primed us to face these challenges and embrace the challenges yet to come. So as we prepare for this future, in my final remarks, I'd like to offer a traditional Hawaiian chant entitled Oli Mahalo. It is a song of appreciation that honors everyone who's helped the graduates that sit before me get to where we are at this pivotal moment in time. Dear Pitzer College, class of 2017, think of this chant as my final embrace for you. Uhola ia kamakalo ala, pu ai ke alohala, kuka ia kahalo ala, pavehi mai na lehua, mai ka ho'oku ia kahalava ila, mahalo e na kua. Mahalo e na kupuna la ea, mahalo me ke alohala, mahalo me ke alohala. Mahalo, thank you.
Okay, I gotta get collected. On behalf of the 2017 Senior Class Gift Committee, Chance Kawar is here today to present the college with a gift. Chance is from San Diego, California, and is graduating today with a degree in political science. Chance.
Thank you, President Oliver. Good morning to all of the graduates, students, professors, alumni, staff, parents, family, and friends gathered here today. It was truly an honor to be elected by my peers to represent the class of 2017 for the past year. I'm actually a little surprised and grateful that I managed to go the whole year without getting impeached. If you know anything about Pitzer's campus politics, that feat is a lot easier said than done. In all seriousness, this past November, many of us were blindsided by the results of the US presidential election. In the months and weeks that have followed, we as graduating students have had to do a lot of soul searching about the future we want to create for ourselves and for our communities, particularly after we step off this stage. Where do we fit into a world that often feels like it is being ripped apart at the seams? With sexism, racism, and xenophobia all on the rise, we as young graduates have a responsibility to stand up and fight back. That's exactly what happened when dozens of Pitzer students headed downtown to participate in the historic Women's March. And that's exactly what happened when we rallied together to designate Pitzer as a sanctuary college. So of course, when members of the Senior Class Council approached me with the idea of fundraising for the Undocumented Student Scholarship as a gift to our college, it was clear to me that this was absolutely the right thing to do. The scholarship was originally created in 2012 and helps provide financial aid to undocumented students or those with DACA status. The Senior Class Gift is an important tradition that promotes student philanthropy and inspires the graduating class to leave a legacy in commemoration of their educational journey. I can't think of a better way to uphold and honor our core values than by supporting this scholarship. I am proud to report to you today that over 50% of the class of 2017 has donated their own money to support the Senior Class Gift campaign. Not only did many seniors choose to support the Undocumented Student Scholarship, but many also donated to some of Pitzer's other critically important programs, such as the Internship Fund and the diversity program. Including donations from senior parents, we have raised a total of $97,000 and $97,000 for the senior class gift. I am so proud of everything that this class has been able to accomplish. Maybe I'm a little biased, but I think that the class of 2017 will go down as one of the most creative, engaged, and passionate classes in the history of Pitzer College. Thank you.
Brian Christensen graduated from Pitzer College in 1993. He earned his Bachelor of Arts degree in economics and was also a member of the Sage Hen basketball team. Brian currently serves as the Senior Director of Portfolio and Strategy, Global Community Impact for Nike. He is the President of the Alumni Association and has done outstanding work representing our alumni through volunteer leadership and alumni activities. Brian, please come up and give the alumni greeting.
Well, in a proud tradition that lasts at least 2 years, the student speaker is going to be considerably better than the alumni speaker. But I'm going to go off script for just a second, and Kepa, what you said about the meaning of a hug I think is really important. And I think the idea of the alumni offering a hug to you guys as new graduates is really important. So if you don't mind me taking 10 seconds on behalf of the Alumni Association, Kepa. Okay. Good morning, and please let me be among the many who are going to congratulate you on your graduation. This morning I was saying to my son Colby, who's here somewhere, that I thought it was great to get a few LinkedIn invitations from some of you over the last week. I mentioned I thought it was cool that some of you thought enough about my work that you wanted to be connected. Callously, he mentioned that he thought your parents might have looked me up on Google and suggested you reach out in case I can help with a job. Let's be honest, we all understand my role here today. I am the largely unknown quantity sitting between the classmate you chose to speak, who is incredibly qualified, and the famous person who is also incredibly qualified. But that doesn't mean we can't have some fun for the next 5 minutes or so, so let's get to it. I basically have 2 jobs, and if I do them while getting you to smile a bit, all the better. First, I'm going to explain why I said something to you yesterday in the rehearsal. Why am I proud to be associated with you, the graduating class? Second, I'd like to make a pitch for all of you to stay connected to the Pitzer community, whether that be continued personal engagement, financial, or both. All right, let's knock this out. Here's my 15-second spiel on the giving thing. I am fully aware of how indelicate it is of me to bring this up at your graduation. Bear with me, I come armed with logic. If you give $20.17 or whatever each year, it'll save you a bunch of time answering phone calls from students. And your participation rate means a great deal to the college and its ability to raise money from institutional donors. And let's not let all the money go to inferior institutions like CMC. And here's a tip. When you come to one of the alumni happy hours, tell one of the trustees you did it, and they'll buy your drinks. If you throw in an appetizer, you'll come out ahead in the deal, and you don't have to cook or clean that night. In business jargon, that's called a win-win. All right, back to the fun part. I don't want to brag, but I think I did my jobs pretty well last year. And here's the secret to how I did it. I happen to believe strongly in both. In my job, I hire a fair number of folks recently graduated from college. In my experience, the students here are unique and particularly well prepared to succeed through an ability to think critically and cross-functionally, then communicate ideas clearly. Believe it or not, that is not a universal skill set for college grads. I believe that you will change the world for the better with the skills and values you've developed mostly over your lifetimes, but also here at Pitzer. I try to meet with as many students as I can during my times on campus, and I am constantly wowed by your passion, commitment, experience, and expertise in your chosen fields. To those of you here with whom I've had a chance to speak, it has truly been my pleasure. So I really mean it when I say I am honored to be associated with you. And staying connected to Pitzer with its numerous strengths, along with its areas for development, is something I hope you all do. As I said last year, Pitzer isn't perfect. Here's a spoiler alert. No person, place, or institution is. But I believe in the spirit of this community to openly, honestly, and actively address the critical questions that face us. Increasing Pitzer's impact in the world is, from my vantage point, unambiguously positive. Unfortunately, last year I delivered a slightly longer version of those 2 points, but also threw in a couple of jokes about the individual who is currently this country's president. Because there was just no way that guy was ever going to get elected. Clearly, my earlier claim to be good at this job of addressing the graduating class is about as credible as the rationale in a White House termination letter. A groan followed by tepid applause. Gonna have to rethink that one. So perhaps it's best if I just acknowledge again my role as halftime entertainment, do the 2 things I'm assigned, and get out of the way. I think I can sum it up quickly. My wish for you is that you find what you are passionate about and work at it fearlessly. For me, it is primarily my family, my wonderful wife, and 2 amazing sons. While professionally, it is working to evolve corporate philanthropy to attack the world's most challenging problems in a partnership-oriented, cross-sectoral way. Despite my shortcomings, of which I have many, I will have a meaningful impact in this space in my lifetime. Your passions are certainly different, but just as you showed up here better equipped than I did 28 short years ago, you leave even more prepared to do really big things after graduation. I think you guys are awesome. I want to work with you. And parents, I'm sorry, I don't mean that in the traditional I have a job for your child kind of a way. I think you should get in touch with me or the incoming president of the Alumni Association, Tim Campos, and see how you can stay engaged. We can celebrate and leverage Pitzer's strengths. We can work on its development areas. On the alumni board, we're focused on helping Pitzer create an environment that is welcoming and supportive of everyone in the community, both during their time here and afterwards as alumni. Be a mentor. Support our work with first-gen students, or any group you're passionate about on campus. You can spend as much or as little time as you can spare. Trust me, with the benefit of hindsight, you'll be very glad you stayed engaged and contributed. Congratulations again on a terrific accomplishment that you should all be proud of. I look forward to meeting as many of you as possible over the years as fellow Pitzer College alums, and partnering with you on those things that are most vital to Pitzer, our communities, and the world around us. Thank you.
This year's commencement speaker is Guy Raz. Guy is the host, co-creator, and editorial director of 2 of NPR's most popular programs, TED Radio Hour and How I Built This, which are heard by more than 14 million people around the world each month. Guy joined NPR in 1997 as an intern for All Things Considered, and has worked virtually every job in the newsroom, from production assistant to breaking news anchor. In 2000, at the age of 25, he became the youngest bureau chief in NPR's history when he was put in charge of the organization's Berlin operations. He also served as a correspondent for CNN and as NPR's London bureau chief before being tapped in 2009 to host NPR's flagship radio show, All Things Considered. He launched the TED Radio Hour in 2013 and started the How I Built This podcast 3 years later. Guy has reported from more than 40 countries and covered the Pentagon, the Israel-Palestinian conflict, and the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. He won both the Edward R. Murrow Award and the Daniel Shore Journalism Prize for his reporting from Iraq. With degrees in history from Brandeis and Cambridge universities, Guy brings a historian's perspective to the news he covers. If journalism is, quote, the first draft of history, unquote, we are lucky to have him chronicling our times. In recognition of the times we are living in, Guy is donating his honorarium to a program that supports scholarships for undocumented students. Pitzer community, please welcome Guy Raz.
Thank you, President Oliver, trustees, faculty and staff, alumni, parents and friends, and of course, to you, the class of 2017. And I would particularly like to thank the graduating class here at Pitzer College for voting to have me here to speak. And I must admit, it is a pleasant surprise to learn that there are so many NPR nerds here at Pitzer. I only hope I look like the NPR nerd you imagine when you hear the show. So, standing here today, I'm reminded, of course, of my own commencement address. It was a beautiful New England spring day. Our commencement speaker was Madeleine Albright, the first woman to become the Secretary of State. An incredibly inspiring person. And it was an amazing opportunity to hear from one of the most respected voices in the world. And here's what she said. Actually, I don't remember any of it. And it's not because she didn't say anything profound or meaningful. It was just that I was so distracted with thoughts about the future. It was this mixture of incredible optimism tinged with anxiety, fear, and lots of uncertainty. So if you are a little distracted right now, I completely understand. Now, this probably goes without saying, but today is an incredibly important day for you, for your family, for your advisors, your professors, really anyone who helped you get to this place. Maybe you're the first in your family to go to college, or the first to graduate from college. Maybe you did something amazing here. Maybe you wrote an incredible thesis or organized a campus event. Maybe you led a protest or a movement. Maybe you had a professor who recognized something in you that you didn't. I'm pretty sure that somewhere along the way, all of you felt a moment of recognition. You began to forge an identity here. And all of you took a different path. Perhaps it was painless, maybe it was challenging, but you made it. And everyone here is so proud of you. So that's the good news. The bad news is that tomorrow these seats will be folded up, this tent will be dismantled, your cap and gown will go back to the rental company, and you are going to be just another human on planet Earth. The club you started, the movement you built, the identity you forged here, the people outside of this place, the people you encounter outside in the world, they won't know any of it. And it's the cruel reality of this system that we've set up for you. We tell you to study, we tell you to go to college, with the implicit promise that if you do those things, you will be just fine. And there's some truth to that. For the first 22 years in our life, there's a kind of safety net. We go to kindergarten, and then to elementary school, and then to middle school, and eventually high school, and then college. And in each phase of that journey, there is somebody who is cheering you on, pushing you to succeed, to get to the next step. It's happening right now. Except tomorrow, that safety net is gone. You will be sent out into the world to figure it out on your own. And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And what nobody told me 2 decades ago when I was sitting in that very same seat is that after this day is over, there is an uncertain interim. There's a period where the ambiguity about what comes next becomes one of the most powerful forces you will experience. What I didn't know then, and what I've subsequently learned from some of the people I've been able to interview in recent years, is that your 20s are tough. There is some very recent and groundbreaking research that shows the human brain, particularly the executive function of our brain, continues to develop and churn and change well into our late 20s. Lots of stuff is happening inside our heads that is a normal biological function of just growing up. Now, combine the uncertainty of this moment with a particularly complex developmental phase in life, and you can have a perfect storm that in some cases expresses itself in a particularly dark way. That's what happened to me. So let me share a story that I have never told in a public setting, but one I hope might be relatable. When I was 22, out of college and starting out, I was paralyzed by that uncertainty. I was filled with anxiety about the future. And it was in my mid-20s, for the first time in my life, I began to experience a form of crippling depression that hit me like a high-speed train. I had never known what it felt like to hit rock bottom, to feel totally unmoored from reality, to suffer from a kind of sadness that felt both paralyzing and also terrifying, and at the same time to feel like it was somehow self-indulgent, that somehow I shouldn't be feeling this way. I couldn't talk about it with anyone because, frankly, I was ashamed and embarrassed. I grew up in a very proud home where illness was defined by whether you had a fever above 101 degrees. I'm sure a lot of you can relate. So it was by chance that a mentor of mine approached me one day after a few days' absence from work, and she asked one question. She asked me, "Do you need help?" Now, under normal circumstances, I'd have said no. I was raised to be self-sufficient, to be independent, to think of strength as the absence of vulnerability. Asking for help was something that I thought of as a sign of weakness. But in that moment, something inside of me said yes. She gave me a telephone number, and a few days later, for the first time in my life, I went to seek help for something I didn't think of as an illness. And that one question, "Do you need help?" saved my life. Now, I'm not here to tout the virtues of medication or antidepressants. There's plenty of conflicting medical research about the effectiveness of these drugs. But for me, whether it was a placebo effect or real medical science, it helped, and it helped a lot. Now, this was all happening at a time in my life when I was also displaying outward signs of what many might define as success. I became an NPR correspondent. I was getting my work published in newspapers. My family was proud of me. My career seemed to be taking off. But inside, I was in turmoil. I didn't know that uncertainty is a totally normal part of figuring out your path. And I was lucky. I went through this at a time before Snapchat and Facebook. I mean, my anxiety and sense of failure wasn't heightened by the perception that everyone else around me was doing just fine. Because how many of your Facebook friends post photos of themselves lying in the fetal position on the bathroom floor? I suspect none. There is this cruel irony where, as we've become more and more open online, we're actually sharing a curated version of our lives. We're being less honest about our fears and about our anxieties and about our vulnerabilities. But here's the thing. Every single one of you is going to go through some form of anxiety about your place in the world. Because you're stepping into a moment where all of your hopes and dreams and ambitions will start to meet reality. And it doesn't mean that you won't fulfill all of those things and hopes. But it does mean that you will go through a period where there is uncertainty, where you aren't sure, and you might feel even a bit doubtful. So why am I sharing all of this? I'm sharing it because I believe there is an incredible power in showing vulnerability. And for most of us, it's hard. Maybe it's a secret we don't want anyone to know, a moment of shame or weakness that haunts us. And in so many ways, we're programmed to hide these vulnerabilities because we think of them as an Achilles heel, something that will prevent us from being liked or respected or feared, or whatever it is we think we need to succeed. But here's the secret. There's also something incredibly liberating about putting yourself out there and sharing your anxieties and vulnerabilities and fears. And vulnerability is the path that leads us to compassion, empathy, and most importantly, kindness. And you all know these are values we will need if we are to open up a conversation about who we are as a society and to even begin to reckon with our past. You know, I come from a generation that's done some incredible things. My cohort has given the world Google and Tesla and Beyonce and Jay-Z. We've built incredible technologies and made the world more transparent. We have made progress. But my generation hasn't collectively asked the hard questions about who we are as a nation, about how we got here. We haven't moved down the path of committing ourselves to the cause of justice in a way that will unleash the power of our potential. Not enough of us stop to consider that the wealth and the prosperity of this nation was built on the backs of generations of people who were brought here against their will. People who were never given equity in that prosperity. And today, that legacy and that story lives deep in the identity of millions of people in this country. We have been told our whole lives that we live in the greatest democracy the whole world has ever known, that opportunity is available to those who work hard. But we also know that this story is flawed. It does not apply to all of us equally. We know that opportunity often has a way of benefiting the privileged. But it does not have to be that way. It doesn't have to be a false myth. And if it is to become a truth, you must make it so. You know, many of us are here today because of the hardships overcome by generations before us. In my story, they were members of my family who were burned to ash in Nazi concentration camps. The lucky ones who survived or who fled lived disrupted lives. And we know through years of research that this kind of trauma is passed down from one generation to the next. But from the darkness of that trauma came an important attempt by the perpetrators to confront its past. Germany has spent decades struggling with how best to treat this history. The country has made symbolic reparations to the victims who survived. Each year, hundreds of thousands of German schoolchildren are taken to see the remnants of death camps all across Europe. Germany's national identity is intertwined with its past sins. And yet today, despite its flaws, Germany stands as a beacon to the world. It's a lesson we here in America must consider, because when we begin to confront our own past, how we got to this place today, we will become stronger and we will become more just. By engaging in a kind of reckoning, we can become a kinder and a more compassionate society. By acknowledging that privilege is a real thing granted to certain people based on gender, wealth, the hue and tone of their skin and their background, by calling it for what it is, we can begin to make this country fairer and more equitable. Now, this is a generational challenge. This is your charge. You are the most diverse generation in this country's history. This is your country, and this is your story. And you will define what it means to be an American for everyone who comes after you. And this will not be easy, especially now. Right now, in 2017, as I look at the world around us, I see an absence of empathy and vulnerability and compassion. Unkind behavior is in the ascendancy. Corporations answer solely to shareholders above the communities and the country they are supposed to serve. We have closed our doors to vulnerable peoples fleeing war and violence in parts of the world. Many leaders in this country lack empathy, intellectual curiosity, and basic interpersonal decorum. And so the truth is, we are at an incredibly difficult time in our nation's history. Our core values are being tested. whether it's civil liberties, healthcare, environmental protection, economic inequality, the rights and protections of vulnerable communities. I can go on and on. And I suspect that many of you have been asking yourselves, how can I actively work to support a set of values that might contradict what our nation's leaders are reflecting right now? What do we do? How do we resist? Protesting, demonstrating, speaking up, participating, you will do all of these things. It's your right and responsibility. But the simplest form of resistance is something each of you has the power and agency to fulfill right now. And it's perhaps the most naive of all. But it's a truth I deeply believe in. And that truth is kindness, empathy, and compassion. These are some of the most powerful weapons we have in our toolbox of resistance. Today, in an unkind world, kindness is resistance. Individual acts of kindness are resistance. They are acts of resistance to anger, to nativism, to misplaced nationalism, to inequality, to injustice, to cruelty, and to those wanting to silence you. In 2017, kindness is a radical idea. Being kind means showing vulnerability about what your heart and your mind are going through. It means listening to those that might be brave enough to share that with you as well. It means being an ally and a partner to someone with less privilege. And it means something much, much more than merely tolerance. Because in our world today, tolerance isn't enough. We have to move to a place beyond tolerance, a place of respect and even love. And you need to lead us there. Now, I'm not here as some kind of paragon. Like most of my fellow Homo sapiens, I am a flawed, complicated collection of contradictions. There are days when I am unkind, when I fly off the handle, when I find myself acting on my worst impulses. The days I honk my car horn or lose patience with a customer service representative. We've all been there. But I'm here to remind you and me that even though we are all flawed, being kind should be our highest aspiration. This is not easy. Being kind is harder than being unkind. It takes work and effort and discipline. But if you make that effort, I promise you, you will change our world. And today, the world is now yours. You own the future. I'm asking you all to do big things for all of us. I'm asking you to lead our country and our world to a kinder and a more just future. So, right now, go make that future for you, for the rest of us. It's been one of the truly great honors in my life to be here and speak with you today. Congratulations on your achievement. Thank you so much.
Will the class please stand? And now, Mr. President, upon a recommendation of the faculty and with the approval of the Board of Trustees, I have the honor to present the candidates here today, together with those who are absent, who, having completed all requirements, are to receive the degree Bachelor of Arts.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree Bachelor of Arts.
Can I? Okay. Chase Abelson. Hannah Edelstein. Daniela Alvarenga. Rachel Arditi. Diego Arroyo. Dylan Patrick Aria. Divya Bambawale. Ryan Banfi. Kepa Barrett. Daniel Bennett. Elizabeth DeWint Berg. Alexander Burke. Maximilian Blanc. Colin Blinder. Evan James Bodell. Febi Bodiato. Rachel Bolton. Rebecca Bursten. Basha Brule Wills. Chessa Jaden Burke. Delphine Burns. Michael Caldwell. Michael David Carson. Carla Caceres. David Cervantes. Eric Joseph Chow. C. Clifford. Chloe Tess Cohen. Marley Cohen. Lena Cole. Jacqueline Compasanto. Tatiana Coelho. Claire Conklin. Eleanor Louise May Cook. The one and only Maite Cortez Garcia. Colton Koss. Dennis Crowley. Ronaldo Coulanet. Jason Daly. Kyle Dalrymple. Gabrielle Das. Alora Juliana Daunt. Rebecca. Anya Rebecca Deering. William Theodore DeHager. Mario Rene Diaz Hidalgo. Marissa Remy Dorrit. Kendall Douglas. Jackson Dollar. Kenna Graham Jaworski. Jared Aiken. Asha Earwood. Savannah Ellis. Eli Ehrlich. Maribel Escobedo Perez. Elaine Chantal Estevez. Devin Alexis France. Apologies, that's Devin Alexis France. Sorry. Sean Patrick Fentress. Roberto Figueroa. Elizabeth Hostika Fink. Nick Necochea Flores. Dayon Flynn Walsh. Brian Y. Fong. Megan Olivia Fosha. Nicholas Jassy Fram. Brennan Freed. Forrest Fulgenci. Hernan Gallo Cornejo. John Cyrus Gadar. Kira Mel de Fontenay Gauche. Sanford A. Glickman. Jeremy Goldberg. Vanessa Gonzalez. Keenan Gabriel Gottlieb. Hope Grant. Rose K. Greenberg. Riam Griswold. Kevin Gardia. Timothy Hardman. Lily Gabriela Harris. Sophie Harris. Hunter Thompson Hartman. Stella Hartman. Galen Jeffrey Rowan Hendricks. Nancy Hernandez. Molly Chauncey Hickey. Casey Hitomi. Catherine Rose Hodgman. Natalie Honan. Madeline Honningford. Lillian Jessica Elizondo Horen. Gillian Shea Ratliff. Caleb Hoffman. Kagan Ingrazi. Amanda Addison Jacoby. Benjamin Jardine. Jordan Michelle Jenkins. Patrick Jimenez. Aviva Jinic. Khalil Johnson. Jada Jones. Bulolo Jonga. Kevin Patrick Jordan. John Kalapos. Yulia Kasperskaya. Jasmine Kaur Basra. Maria Alexa Kavanagh. Chance Kawar. Sharon Cannon. Ami Helen Kikuchi. Alyssa Kim. Patrick Marshawn King. Sipanom Kitimun. Noah Knowlton Latkin. Davida Corin. It's halftime, folks. Emily LeBeau. Jesse Levine. Anna Leopold. Jennifer Nyaku Lesorogol. Douglas Allen Lewis. Jordan Lim. Carlo Lipson. Tiffany Liu. Amina Noni Lukman. Eleanor Lynch. Gabriel Anthony Madrid. Gina Mitsuko Mayakawa. Farron F. Majur. Saraling Malteson. Pacharapon Manarat. Riley Mang. Gabriela Mastropolito. Margot Matson. Paul Samuel Masana. B.U. Me. Thomas Marshall Milkey. Josie Moberg. Alison Flannery Motes. Evan Mulling. Mackenzie Reed Nagel. Raz Cheyenne Naimi. Rahul Nalamasu. Rebecca Jihai Nathan. Maureen Naval. Diamante Nelson. Sarah Nelson. Isabel Ing. Tran Win. Kayla Allison Nishizaki. Taylor Novick Finder. Harry does not get a degree. Lee Olet. Gabriela Rocio Ramirez Ornelas. Tiffany Ortamond. China Parento. Kristen Ji-in Park. Alex Parks. Josue Pasillas. Pooja Patel. Sona Pragnesh Patel. Jai Krishnang Singh Payton. Maya Peterson. Lily Peterson. Rebecca Pless. Harry Benjamin Polstein. Nina Aisha Prasad. Menya Chi. Ali Queen. Samantha Marie Quesada Diaz. Ritika Rao. Katrina Rapp. Vidhatri Rati. Madeline Claire Rodding. Reggie Reed. Marley Elizabeth Reifert. Maria Guadalupe Rivera. Julian Vaughn Roberts. Layla Medea Roberts. Kenneth Sachs Robertson. Miranda Irene Jones Rorick. Sarah Raquel Roshdi. Samantha Rosenblatt. Rachel Sarah Rosenfeld. Mallory Ann Roth. William Rolls. Rebecca Rubin. Alex Ruiz. Miller Saltzman. Ness Sansawang. Kaylee Sorrow. Griffin Shane Saxon. Clayton Joseph Richter Sayre. Madeline Sarah Shaughnessy. Cassidy Megan Shea. Jinyi Shun. Cleo Sherman. Eleanor Samotas. Sabrina Sohail. U Fei Song. Bennett Dane Christian Sorensen. Lily Sewell. Rachel Hannah Spiegel. Jessa Deanna Stein. Alexandra Straybook. Shinara Sunderlal. Amanda Tapp. Abigail Victoria Taubman. Fran Tejeda. Shen Tang. Loring Thomas. William Thorson. Clayton Toe. Phoebe Tu. Elliot J. Turner. Max Olven. Nicholas Urban. Joris van Zechbruch. Sean Pedro Velez. Solene Waxman. Joseph Sonnabend Wagner. Sachi Natalie Watese. Chase Alexander Weinholz. Elizabeth Wineline. Ryan Evan Wheat No. Ali Indu Williams. Finlay Sarafa Williams. Remy Wilson. Shi Ming Shong. Jake Yazgur. Dan Xing Tao Yu. Brandon Zemp. Zhu Dixin Yao.
Got it?
Sarah Zimmerman. And last, but by no means least, Margaret Taylor Zukin.
It's now time for me to give you your charge. At Pitzer College, students who possess immense confidence, unabashed individuality, strong ideas on practically every social issue, and boundless enthusiasm, providing a charge for you is probably pointless. But tradition cannot be overlooked, so let me give it a try. As you face a world that is increasingly divided, increasingly clinging to separate and mutually incompatible worldviews, I charge you to make a commitment to use your intercultural skills, your interdisciplinary understanding, to become the interlocutors that listen, translate, and work to create bridges between these seemingly incompatible visions of our world. I charge you to move beyond your familiar friends and comfortable milieus to create opportunities to engage those who you disagree with, who seem to live in a different world of fact and emotion. For only then will you be able to cultivate our individual and collective capacity for judgment, discernment, empathy, and imagination. Only then will you be able to conceive new ways of knowing and new ways of being. Your Pitzer education gives you all the tools needed to be that kind of ambassador of hope and optimism, to ask you to stand with others, step up, and speak up. When we participate in social justice movements that emanate from situated knowledge, we move ever closer to a more decent and democratic existence. We are all rooting for you, our true hope for the future. My friends, I present to you the class of 2017. you.